Hello and welcome to this episode of No Blasters with me, Kieran Bartlett. It is a fucking lovely day. It's very heartening to me to know that in the next hour and a half I'm gonna have a wee skinny chai latte in this hand and a wee bun in that one. I feel good about it. So, today's episode is sponsored by Good Times All Round because there is no sponsor this week because it's the 5th episode of the month, and that means that I'm just going to plug the bollocks clean out of our stuff. So patreon.com/no blasters, £3 a month gets you loads of shit. You get new episode of No Blasters extra time every Thursday. You get an episode of the Noodle Bar every Sunday. You get midweek check-in and a Sunday bulletin. You get every week. You get access to be able to message us. You get all kinds of shit. You get a Smells Bitchin' once a month, which is our amazing cookery segment. And then you also get, for £6 a month, you get all that. Plus, you get pre-announcements on gigs, you get discount on gigs, and you can play us on FIFA on extra time, get your own episode. So it's all good. Also, 17th of December, Mandela Hall, the Christmas special, Ho 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 Blasters. Come to see that. It's going to be sensational. It's nearly sold out. Please come to that. And also, if you haven't already, get over to Ticketmaster.ie. Start buying up those Belfast Giant tickets. Kieran Bartlett Belfast Giant, 10th of November next year. Up the hoods. So today's guest is none other than Irish comedy legend Neil Delamere. Very good to meet you, mate.
That was such expert plugging. I mean, I was going online buying all the tickets to all the things. I didn't understand half of it.
High level.
I was like, Smells Bitchin' is. I'm 100% on for that. I have to say,
Smells Bitchin' has become. It's probably one of my favorite things to do. Like,
really?
Yeah, because it started off just as like, we might try this. And now, like, I'm literally, like, devising recipes.
Here's my question. Do you eat quickly or slowly?
I would say I'm somewhere in the middle because my wife, Chloe, she probably eats quicker than me, but my brother takes forever.
Yeah, see, the brother is your brother older than you or younger?
He's older.
Okay. Yeah, I have this, when you have people and they just eat really, really slowly, and everybody I know who's Irish, who is in a big family, eats really, really quickly.
Yeah, see,
and I think it's they think that their brother was going to take it away from them.
I would say most of our ones, because I'm the youngest of 8, I would say most of our ones eat quickly.
Yeah.
He's very fussy. My brother that I see most often, yeah, so he'll always leave, this is our Kev, he'll always leave bits.
Yeah.
And he's very fussy about things he doesn't like. So, like, if you give him a bolognese, Kev will pick mushrooms out of it and leave them on the side of the plate, and he'll leave bits of the meat that he doesn't like the look of.
He hasn't been left hungry for long enough. That's
the
his
thing,
issue.
isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what he'll do though? He'll make those calories up. He'll have bread with anything.
Right.
You could give our Kev a plate of mash and he'll have bread with it. Like, you know what I mean? It's very weird.
That's deeply odd.
How many brothers and sisters you got?
I'm the last of 4. Yeah,
right. Okay.
So, well, that sounded. I could have just said I've got 3, but the last of 4. That sounded like an Indiana Jones. I was like the end of my. I am the final of my line, and I will find the Holy Grail in this life or the next.
That's fucking unbelievable. Yeah, it's great.
My brother would always deny. He used to eat quickly, and he would always deny it. Like, you'd hand him something, and then he'd look away, and then it'd be gone. And he'd be like, "You ate that?" And he goes, "No, I didn't." And he'd be like a snake, where you could see the shape of a Viennetta in his throat. I don't know what you're talking about. He's clearly eating the Viennetta.
Have you ever?
It's a geyser.
Have you ever eaten something and immediately? So the two things that happen to me frequently when I eat, one will be, "Oh fuck, was that?" Yeah, I'll eat something in the house and go, was that meant to be for
somebody else,
something else, or was that meant to be for later? And I'll get guilty. But then, do you know what happens to me a lot at the minute? I get a shame. I get a shame when I have something that's dirty.
Right.
Like I would call it a mixed shame.
Shame.
Yeah, like the feeling when if you're having, like, say, something out of a drive-through on the way home.
Ah, okay.
Right?
Sorry, I thought so.
I'll be enjoying
a Mac shame as in
yeah.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
I thought it was Mick shame as in some deep-seated Irish
issue
that you had. Go, what are you talking about?
Like Paddy shame.
Yeah, Paddy shame.
No, this is like a Mac shame. Yeah, I could be enjoying something out of a drive-through.
Yeah,
I'll enjoy it right up to the moment that the last bite goes in, and then I just go shame. And I mean, it's a brutal feeling until
do you know what that is? It's
Just the mad sugar crash happening
it's
early.
dopamine apparently.
Is it really?
Yeah. So one of the things that I was listening to this thing on dopamine, and you like when you eat chocolate. I love
Right.
chocolate. Absolutely
See, I'm more
love
of a
chocolate.
crisp guy.
Really,
Yeah.
like to the extent of I was trying to explain to somebody how much I love chocolate that um I find it even hard to give up. And I was joking to him, saying that you can't see this right now, but right now I'm wearing an After Eight as a nicotine patch. Like, and it just slowly
great.
seeps
Yeah.
sugar into it. And he kind of went, "Are you?" And I went, "No, but it's a metaphor for how much I like chocolate." But apparently it spikes your dopamine, and so you're eating it. But then as soon as you're finished eating it, you go, "Oh,
Oh wow. I
yeah."
didn't know that because it's it's instant. I'll go like this. And it's like I haven't even swallowed it. I'm just in.
Do you hold it in your mouth?
I
Try
just
to delay
I
it as long
yeah.
as possible.
It's just I don't know what it is. There's something about a wee double cheeseburger that just as soon as you finish it, you're just like, there's another one. There's another few minutes off the old expectancy. Like
The
It's fucking
weirdest
mental.
meal I had, I think, ever is somebody got me a present once, and years ago. It was a really posh restaurant.
Right.
Do you know Heston Blumenthal? Who
Yes.
does all this, we met him once at the panel.
Wow.
Me and Murph met him. Very, very nice man. And
That's mental.
we went to hit I think it was the Fat Duck. It was
Oh,
that's what it was
yeah.
called. And
That's like literally like always in like the top 2 or 3 best
Oh,
restaurants in these islands.
it was amazing. And one of the dishes was this seafood thing, and so I got this as a lovely gift. Thanks a million to the person who gave it for me. And seafood came out, and then he had a shell, and inside the shell was an iPod at the time, and you put speakers of the iPod, the headphones of the iPod into your ears, and it played sounds of the sea while you ate the seafood, and it was meant to kind of give you some degree of experience. And I was just thinking, like, I was telling my ma about it at the time, and she was looking at me like, I should have, when you were eating a burger, stood behind you and gone, and just referenced and
Yeah.
made the sound of everything. But it was nice.
Isn't that mental?
It's kind of an experience, I suppose.
Yeah, that's like like you would feel more at home if you were eating a burger, and like you just had the noise of like a seagull fucking smacking your window trying to get it off. Did you ever get that? Did you ever get attacked in the car park of a McDonald's by seagulls?
Not in the
Is that a
car
thing?
park from McDonald's, but like, yeah,
That has happened.
They are getting bigger as well. I don't care what anybody says.
No, they are.
I know it's an old man thing to say.
No, they are.
Cops are getting younger looking and seagulls are getting bigger. But
They
I
are
mean,
getting bigger.
I was in Dollymount Strand in Dublin the other day, and when you were a kid, you'd have one, and the seagull would come down and try and take your ice cream.
There's a
Whereas-
seagull. There's a seagull that you see, and I know that it's a specific one.
Really?
There's a specific one at the McDonald's in Sprucefield
Right.
that he could. I think he could probably lift Rishi Sunak. Like, I mean, it's just based on their different sizes. I think he could just steal him.
I'm pretty sure that the one in Dollymount could take the ice cream van.
There's
Just a full. You'd hear the Doppler effect.
the fucking just the I don't know what I would make of that. Of like somebody if I mean obviously if they gave me that and they gave me the iPad, I would go along with it.
Yeah.
But I would definitely be sort of going,
Ah,
I wanna
yeah.
talk to people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I'm going for dinner, like
Yeah, well, we've been going out a long time at that point, so it was a blessed relief for the poor girl.
A wee break.
Yeah, yeah.
That's mental. What else did you get there? It sounds mental.
It's years ago. I can't
And
remember.
is it like
I can't
is
remember
it
the
like
rest of it. It was a tasting menu. and
All right, so
it wasn't.
yeah.
It wasn't ridiculous as well
Right.
for a special occasion, and you got like kind of 10
Mm.
dishes and stuff. I think he was always about having kind of normal people in,
Yeah.
and it wasn't millions and millions of quid, you know,
Aye.
because he wanted to get as many people into food as humanly
Yeah.
possible, you know.
I watched a show that he did one time that was where he got like the Satyricon by Petronius, which is like a Roman satire, and one of the big scenes in it is called the dinner at Trimalchio's, and people go to this guy's house, and he's like a Roman freedman, so he's like a slave who's been freed, and he's like nouveau riche, you know, and he puts on this mad banquet, and Heston Blumenthal made the shit
No,
that's in the book, but it was like.
did everybody lie on the ground eating it?
Yeah, they do.
Did they?
Like the, the thing with the feathers and all. Like,
Yeah.
where you eat loads and then make yourself sick, and then you keep going. And I'm going, this is fucking mad. But he made shit. I mean, the thing that's mad to me about it, two things. Firstly, like mad that he went and got this ancient fucking source and just made shit from it. But like, he's making stuff out of like a Roman joke book. So whether the Romans would actually have eaten it
this, yeah.
or it was like stuff that's ridiculous, but he made it like stuff like he made this thing out of like dormouse thing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he made stuff like a dormouse lolly type thing, and then he made this thing that like. I mean, this dish looks like it's alive. Like fucking all this stuff comes up out of it once it's like you poke it there and it goes blah, 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 and all this shit. And I was literally going, this is fucking mental. It was a great show though.
Two things. First of all, if you had handed me a list of subjects that we were going to cover on this show, not in a million years would I go, oh, Bartlett's mad into his Roman
He loves
satires. Oh, he's mad into it.
I am. I
It's
literally
going to
am.
be that, he's going to do Greek. It's going to be one. He's going to do the Iliad, the Odyssey, or a Roman satire. If I know that man, it's going to be a seagull robbing your chips, or it's going to be something by Homer, or.
I love that shit. Yeah, I'm fully in that.
I just remembered what we had. We had bacon and egg ice cream. Was one of the things.
That's
It's one of the weirdest things because your brain is going, it's ice cream.
Yeah.
And then you taste it and your mouth's going, nom, 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 rashers.
Oh,
And
weird.
you have this weird kind of cognitive dissonance there.
I
so.
wonder how people like that come up with that as a
Do you know
because it isn't just going what would be mad.
Yeah.
It's got to be what would be class, if you get me.
Do you know you're talking about those recipe books? I don't know if you watch Great British Bake Off.
I've seen some
But
of it, yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And I was watching it this week, and what they made. It's amazing because they're like, "Oh, I've made out of pastry. I've made a fully electron microscope, and, and I've made a FIFA thing, and then there's the box, and then I've done the cells of my own body, and then he has made an oven out of gingerbread, and in that oven he's cooked his next cake, and it's this amazing stuff. And then they'll make a simple mistake, like one guy he forgot to put the oven on. It was. But all the stuff, like he genuinely forgot to put the oven on. You're going, you poor bastard. But what I notice about it is it's all French. So it's all these it's all creme patisserie, and creme diplomat.
Bavois. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is.
Ganache.
Yeah.
And it's all these 19th century French recipe books. And I was thinking, why there's no 19th century Irish recipe books? Because
No.
I think that's basically step one, find food.
Spud
Step
you like.
two, are the spuds okay? No, go to America. Step 3, go to Liverpool. Step 4, repeat. That's all it is. You know what I mean?
Flowchart, yes.
Yeah, if no, step on ship.
That's fucking brilliant. That's fucking class. Yeah. I wonder about that show sometimes. My favourite thing on it to look out for anytime I've watched it is evidence of sabotage. I love that. You know, when it's like, oh, somebody's used my dough. Like, they all put their dough in the same place. And it's like, somebody's used mine. You're like, how do you know?
Yeah.
Like, what's the...
I think the two lads who presented are great, but I have to say, you're doing some technical, right? And it's unbelievably complicated. You've been doing it for 4 hours, and then Noel Fielding wanders over with a spoon with a face drawn on it at the most stressful time in your absolute life. Now, I think he's brilliant, but he would be walking away with a wooden spoon up his hole if he went anywhere near me at that. Imagine you're in your leaving cert, or you're doing your A-levels, and you've got 4 minutes left to get your college place, and then somebody pops up with a fucking face and a balloon or something. Say hello to Mr. Wooden. Good man.
What? So when they split, so Great British Bake Off is on Channel 4 now.
Yeah.
And then what's still on BBC?
When they split, you can take the man out of Northern Ireland, but you can't take Northern Ireland the man. Who are the stickies and who are the provosts?
I love a split. Like
split. They're the new Great British Bake Off, and
that
then
what
the
it's called?
continuity are on the BBC Two.
And
No,
then
they just went to
the real British
Channel
Bake
4.
Off's on Channel 5. Yeah.
They just went to Channel 4, and I think they just replaced.
Like,
Mel and Sue left because it wasn't the BBC.
Aye, so Mel and Sue.
And then your man did
They're
it.
not doing it anymore.
No, Noel Fielding did it with Sandy Toksvig.
Right.
Can you tell that it's been a COVID pandemic and all I've done is watch
I
telly
know, yeah, but
for a year and a half?
But it's weird. But I thought the BBC kept something going. Did
No,
they not?
MasterChef.
Well, my favourite master. Oh mate, you've opened the can of worms here right now. I'm not mad.
Heston Blumenthal made a can of worms.
I'm not.
for-
Did he actually?
No.
All right. What do you call him? MasterChef. I love Greg, and I love John Throde, right? But anyway, I don't love their MasterChef though.
Do you not?
Where it's just the public.
Yeah.
Because I'm fair.
You want celeb MasterChef, do you?
Do you know what I want?
Yeah.
I want MasterChef : The Professionals. Oh mate. See
Really?
The Professionals. I love that. Do you know why? two reasons: the skills tests that they make them do at the start,
Right.
and then what you're actually seeing is literally where you like once they get through the first few rounds. You actually, this is going to sound so boring, but you actually see, I'm a dick, you actually see where gastronomy is going. I know I sound like such a wanker, right? But like, see the skills tests.
Yeah.
And the brilliant thing about the skills tests is it has that range that you just said of like some guys making a working oven out of gingerbread next
Yeah.
to some guy who didn't switch his oven on.
Yeah.
The skills tests will have somebody in there who like they go, like they literally walk in and they can go to them, make us a fruit souffle in 20 minutes, and you're like, what does that even mean? And some of them will come in, and sometimes they'll go, make me a fucking bavois or make me a terrine, and some people will you just see them going, I don't know what that is, or it'll be an ingredient that they've never seen. So the range is like people who are absolutely ready to go smash this competition, and maybe someone with like my level of cooking where I'm like, I can chop you an onion, mate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I really want to see Great British Bake Off Champion of Champions. I think I'd love to see, because the level they're at now anyway is unbelievable.
Yeah, it is unbelievable.
But whoever wins Champion of Champions Great British Bake Off will essentially have baked a new tent or something.
Yeah. Here's the thing about bacon though, right?
Yeah.
Does it naturally attract people that are like the characters in that show, you get me? Like a wee bit kooky, a wee bit anal about things. Does bacon attract that like all over, or is it are they picking
Bartlett
those
slams bakers
or are they picking
in
those
tabloid?
Yeah.
I think all TV shows are about casting.
Mm.
Or like Wise Gogglebox, which you're watching people watching telly. If they don't cast that right, it's really dull.
Yeah.
Whereas if you cast that in an interesting way and cut out the inevitable, massively dodgy
bits,
stuff
yeah.
that
Oh,
they say,
yeah.
I'd say they said massively ropey stuff. I've often watched Gogglebox and thought, I wouldn't do that in a million years. Can you imagine if someone just put a camera on you while you were watching TV?
I'd hate it.
How much of that would be broadcastable?
I also slob around a lot when I watch TV.
Dude.
Like I'll just be like, I'll be at weird angles. Nobody wants it. Like
Nobody wants it, or a lot of people want it.
some
Only
people,
fans
yeah,
want it.
Yeah,
That's
only fans. Yeah.
You dressed in a toga, eating something Blumenthal with a dog or a seagull you've trained to drop grapes into
Just
your
turn around
mouth.
to Chloe and being like, bring me my feather. Yeah. It's I don't know about bacon about that though, because it's always those types on any bacon show though.
It's good pass. There's this thing called Pass Remarkable Telly, I think, which is this great. I just think I asked my wife the other day, would she like us to be filmed while watching TV, and she was like, no, because we are all like, look at the stage.
And there's a lot of just slabbering.
He would look so much better if he didn't wear those baggy clothes.
It takes us about 2 hours to get through one episode of Love Is Blind because the amount of times we just pause and go, talk to me about this cunt. Like, I mean, it's actually mental.
That's naked attraction for us. Except we don't talk. We pause and take in whatever we see on TV. I might do a little sketch.
That's probably like the weirdest TV show since Checkers got his lad out on Channel 5. Like, that is literally the weirdest TV.
That Naked Attraction.
Naked Attraction, yeah.
Yeah, it is.
So bizarre. We did 2 episodes of it, like when it first came out. Like, I think it had been out for a few weeks.
When you said we did, you mean you watched?
We watched
okay,
it. Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. No, we watched 2 episodes of it or something like that when it first came out. We saw some comedian talking about it.
Do you know what it reminds me of as well? Is when, if anybody's watching this who is, you'd have to be over 35, before decent broadband, when you were a teenager, and
I know what you're going to say.
a picture would download and you'd be waiting for boobs slowly, and you're about 14. Basically, that's Naked Attraction.
Waiting for boobs used to be your Bebo handle.
Wow. Someone's been on my MySpace page. Yeah.
That's amazing. Waiting for boobs. Yeah. That's you could start a site now that simulates that. Do you know what I mean?
But that's what that show does.
Yeah. Oh, that's fucking brilliant. That's a weird. I just find it to be such a weird, a real weird. Like, speaking of ancient Rome, mate.
Yeah.
People at the time in ancient
can't
Rome.
wait to hear
See,
this.
once you got to like about the middle of the 4th century, like 300s, in the 300s.
BC or AD?
AD.
Okay.
People knew that like that they were past the best of it. Like,
Right.
I feel like that's we're in the last days of Rome now. with
Right.
shows like Naked Attraction, the Tories still being in power.
So does that
Last
mean that
days of Rome.
that the world is going to split into three? Where is going to be our Byzantium? It's going to be Bangor, isn't it?
It's-
Bangor's going to be Byzantium. Then the Holy Roman Empire.
yeah, the Holy Roman Empire will still be in Belfast,
Right.
but Dublin will be like
Carthage.
Dublin is basically already Dublin's Carthage. It's already like what
There's
do
a very good chance of seeing an elephant knocking around Dublin
what
and
do
a
you,
guy
what do you
called
make of
Hannibal.
Dublin these days?
Well, I live in Dublin, yeah.
Do you like it? Do you still like it?
I
Are you
do.
from Dublin?
No, I'm not
Right.
from Dublin. No.
Where are you from?
I'm
If you don't
from.
mind.
I'm from the. Where are you from? If you don't
What
mind.
school did you go to?
That's not a loaded question
I know.
anywhere else. You know that. That's fine everywhere else. I am from the Midlands. I'm from the
Right.
bog between.
Right, okay.
It's called Offaly, between
Offaly,
Galway and Dublin. Yeah.
Right, okay.
But I've lived in Dublin for millions of years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do I like it? Yeah, I do like it because it has good quality life. However, I mean, housing is the big issue. It's
mad, isn't
is the massive issue. And what I don't like is the fact that there's some degree of like I like it. I live not too far from the sea, and you know there's mountains if you want to go to the mountains, and there's a good because Dublin is a capital city and it
Yeah.
has a lot of tourists. You know, you get kind of touring productions of things that you might want to
Yeah.
see. You
Amazing
have
shows to be
yeah,
fair.
you have Croker there with you know that sort of stuff. You have.
You'll get like
Lot of
those,
tourists,
you'll
but-
get those you'll get big acts as well, like
Yeah.
so in comedy and music. So like
Yeah.
we went and saw Dave Chappelle in the Three, and whenever we were standing there, like the posters that were up now, a couple of them were during the wee tour I was doing, so we can go. But like James Taylor
Yeah.
Taylor will come through and play Dublin, but he wouldn't play Belfast. You
But
know?
Belfast is catching up on
It
that.
is-
I
it
mean,
is-
people,
it's getting there
tourists,
comedy wise, 100%.
and tourists didn't go here for years, and now they are. Now I remember doing an ad for the Northern Ireland tourism
Right,
because well, it wasn't an ad, it was more of a campaign because something like a huge percentage of people from the Republic had never been north of the border.
Really?
Huge, yeah, it was
That's mental.
ridiculous. And because I have
That's
worked
mental to
here
me,
for
'cause we go
years,
there.
Some of you go there,
Yeah.
some of you don't.
Yeah.
But the further away you are from the border, the less on both sides, the less likely you are to cross it.
Aye.
Dublin. My worry about Dublin is that because it is this big financial city and the Googles and the Facebooks and all this, my worry is that somebody and this is you think you were being wanky earlier on, but that the artistic life of the city centre will be hammered by. You know, a pub closing down that used to have a room above it for comedy or stuff like that, and then you suddenly get somebody wants to turn it into a hotel or blocks
Yeah.
of apartments or something like that. I would be worried about that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's a good town, particularly when you consider like, you know, this halcyon days of everything was brilliant. Look at my brother is 10 or 12 years older than me, and by the time I left school and college, we were staying. Our generation was staying. We were .com. My degree is software engineering. I was never going to go anywhere. I didn't have to go. If I was going to go, it'd be at my own choice. But 10 years before that, they were going.
Yeah,
Most
yeah.
of them were going, unless they were getting a job at a bank, you know. And that's changed.
I think Belfast might be in its wee bit just now, like a good time now.
I think it is. As
Where
well.
like 10 years ago everyone was leaving here,
Yeah.
and now we're in like a wee bit where people are maybe staying.
Belfast feels like there's a vibe to it. It feels like there's a buzz to it. It feels. I mean, I can only talk about what you and I see, like in
Yeah.
terms of creativity. But you see yourself, Shane, Colin. You see Dione. You see people doing
Yeah.
their own things. You see kind of people self-starting. And I think there's probably even more of that podcast-wise anyway here than there is in Dublin.
Really?
But maybe it's just because I know all the comics or something, you know. I don't know, but if I was to name a load of podcasters I know who are comics who can sell decent venues, I think it'd probably be more here than in
I think
Dublin.
it's taken off here huge in the last couple of years. Like,
Yeah.
what where would you do most stand up? Like, would you do most in Dublin or most up here? Or
No, I do a tour now of about 60 dates, and there'd be, I'd say that's kind of, I try and do every county, but I'd say that's kind of 40% here, 60% there, or maybe
what's your
50,
favorite
50.
county?
My favorite county, apart from my own, gig-wise.
Or even just to go to? Do you know what? I love Kerry.
Do you?
I love it.
Really, that's a beautiful place.
I love it. Like,
Have you been to the Skellig V-Hall?
I have.
Skellig Michael.
Well, sorry. No,
Oh my
I
God.
stayed on Valencia Island
Right.
before, and I fucking loved it. And we were meant to go out to the Skelligs on
Yeah.
one of the days, and it got rained off, and you were like, right, and then we were leaving.
We
like, a
went,
day or two
and
later.
5 days before, boats couldn't land, and we got to go. And then an hour after we left, there was a rock fall, and the island was closed for 5 days.
Jesus.
But it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just looking at the place going.
I just love down there though. See, like
I like Donegal.
Killarney, Kemmer, Donegal is unbelievable as well.
I like there's a bit of what I like about Donegal and Kerry is there's a bit of wildness in those places.
Yeah, 100%.
I remember talking to another mate of mine. He's a London friend of mine. I was kind of saying I love London, but your pubs just like named after two random things like
Yeah.
coming down the dog and duck.
Yeah.
No, I'm in the badger and stethoscope, and like I'm in the telescope and fucking brothel. And like I like these mental. Rural pubs in the middle of nowhere.
It's just someone's name.
Someone's name
painted on it about 100 years ago.
Yeah.
O'Neill's.
Because there is that. You'll meet a fella at the end of a bar who has, who killed a man to watch him die. Sort of thing.
Yeah, 100%. No, it's...
I did a gig once, right?
You get real crack out of people in those places.
I did a gig, and it shall remain nameless, the county, but it was in the north, and they had won a competition for having stand-up. So this was years ago.
Right,
and it was to do with a brewery.
The county won a competition?
No, the pub.
Oh, right, okay.
Right, so I went into this pub in the middle of nowhere now, right? And I said, is there anywhere for us to kind of hang out before we go on? And it was it was size this room we're in now, and the guy goes, you can wait in the kitchen. So the kitchen was attached to the bar, and I went, okay. Went into the kitchen, there was a coffin on the table, and he goes, there's tea and coffee over there, don't look in that. And there's biscuits in the fridge. And I was like, what? He goes, don't look at that, but tea, coffee, water, or milk, if you anything you want. And I fucking didn't look at it either.
That's fucking mad.
And that was the sort of mad stuff that we used to.
It's fucking crazy. What the... I was saying, like, I love Kerry and I love I like Cork a wee bit, but I think Kerry's probably my favourite. Leitrim, least favourite. Gonna throw it out there.
Oh, Leitrim's lovely.
I've only been to like.
You've never been to Longford, have you?
I've been in every county.
Okay,
but I haven't stayed in every county. But I've been to everyone.
Right.
I would say Longford, Roscommon. Probably a two that I would say I've spent least time in.
I quite like Kerry because also when you get somebody who's a proper sort of everything they say sounds slightly magical.
Yeah.
Like they could go, well, your Excel spreadsheet isn't as good as the previous ones I've seen, and you kind of think like you think something magical is going to happen anymore. But if I go and ask the fairies for a special password, they will give me the new Microsoft Windows. We'll set it up, we'll attach your screen to a dolmen, and then Fungi the dolphin will come in and he'll do a patch on your downloaded software and everything will be alright then. And you're kind of like, there's a storyteller from down there, and anything he says, it's one of those, they're just one step away from telling you something fucking amazing about folklore.
We went to we're staying in Muckross, like in down there,
Killarney,
like near Killarney, and we went to like the big house, like Muckross House or whatever, and the park, and we got one of those wee jaunting car things.
Yeah.
Mate, the guy was taking us around. He was as old as fuck, and but he fucking loved it. Like he was full of banter. Like
I love those. Lads.
And he was just fucking shouting at this horse. The horse was called Judy, right? And he'd be in the middle of saying something, and he'd just go, get out of it. Go on, Judy, get up. He just kept going, get up there.
Go up there.
Oh, it was fucking brilliant. I loved that.
The thing about me is I knew Fionn McCool myself when he went to secondary school in the local area. I just think we should elect someone, maybe not the Healy Rays because they're mad, but I think that if we ever had a proper, very competent politician from Kerry, I think we should elect him as the Taoiseach. Because I think we would get him away with murder. Send him in. Well, we've done a deal with Putin. We're going to give him a box of USA biscuits, and he's going to give us the gas and the oil, and it'll be grand, it'll be fine. And I think people just go, ah.
It was fucking just, we had such a great time down there, and then we took another one of those jaunting car things through the gap of Dunlow.
Yeah.
Dunglow. Through the gap, and or no, sorry, not the gap, Dunglow.
Mall's Gap, isn't it?
Yeah, sorry, Mall's Gap in the fucking, in the, where Kate Kearney's college is, right?
Yeah.
So we went there, and this other guy was taking us around. He was showing us, he was much younger. He's about 50 odd. This other guy was like about 80 odd. This guy was about 50, and he was showing us like this ruin of like his grandparents' house is in the middle of this valley, like, and he was sort of showing us it. And there was just a wee bit of, it was a nice enough day, but it was just a bit misty.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh fuck, mate, that's like, you can just imagine, like, you know, places like this was like during the fucking war, like, you know,
Yeah.
this is where it was going on, like a road going through a valley and fucking people attacking from the sides and all." And I was like, and he goes, "What war?" And I went, "Like the War of Independence." And he was like, and I went, "Like the flying columns." And he goes, and I went, "The flying columns." And he goes, "I don't think there's many people called Column around here." And I went, "The flying, like, fuck, like, I'm not telling you about this. Like, you fuck up. You're from here. That house was probably fucking in it. Like, oh, mate."
I do like the idea of a battalion of only lads called Column.
I know, yeah, just that's their name, yeah.
Oh, so you have volunteered, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your name, Barry? Oh, no,
I
sorry,
know, yeah.
Barry. I know you're a sniper who
Yeah,
can kill
it's the
people.
flying columns against
but
the
it's
gay
only
Gordons, like,
columns.
yeah. I was just going, what, like, oh, it was so fucking weird.
But sometimes people deliberately don't want to.
Maybe he didn't want to chat about it, in fairness.
Or maybe he didn't know. Maybe he
what I
didn't want to chat.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
It was literally just the look of the place. It literally looked like it was.
Is that what you do? You put it back to the you. See, I would have looked at that and kind of thought famine times, but you went with kind of War of Independence sort
It was
of
because of it literally reminded me of
ambush
what do you call
sites,
it?
basically.
Ballina or whatever. Like
Ballina, yeah.
It reminded me of that. So it was
Yeah.
like,
Where a man called Column killed Michael Collins.
yeah. So
But dressed as Alan Rickman.
the original flying
Yeah,
column.
yeah.
It reminded me of that, and it reminded me of places that are in like other movies that you've seen or places that you've been to. You know,
Like Zulu.
So, yeah.
Imagine this.
It reminded me, you know, the bit in the Matrix where
Imagine if you said to him, "Just this reminds me of Rourke's Drift in Zulu," and he went, "Oh yeah, Zulus attacked Kantor many times. They were known for it. All the Zulus. You'd
What's
see
your
them
name,
up.
Zulu?
Okay, Zulus against columns. We're gonna mix it up this week, lads.
It was fucking mad. It's such a
Well, on Kerry's a place that has Rose of Tralee. And then catches a mountain goat and puts a mountain goat during the Puck Fair on a platform. You know the Puck Fair
I
Festival?
don't know this about the goat. No.
The Puck Fair Festival, every August, they catch a mountain goat, go out in the middle of the mountains, catch a goat, and put him on a platform
Right.
like an exotic dancer
Right.
for 4 or 5 days. And
What happens to
That's
the
the
goat after?
festival.
Do they let it go?
that's the festival. Yeah, he goes.
Oh, I haven't heard of that one.
Yeah. And nobody knows what.
I've never heard of that
Some
one.
people are going, "Oh, it's an ancient fertility thing," and then other people are going, "Oh, man, this started in like 1962." Or,
Aye.
no, I think it started in I don't know, 17th or 18th century.
Aye.
But it's not. Nobody knows why to do it, and they didn't do it this year because I think they put the goat up, and a vet went. Remember, it was really hot. The
Yeah,
vet went,
yeah,
"No,
yeah.
it's roast them." So take the goat down.
That's fucking mental.
Yeah.
I think
That's why I like Kerry.
my favorite thing about
Their most famous person was a dolphin.
yeah, that's true.
You gotta
That's
love
true.
Kerry.
I used to like going though. We went down to Tralee. My dad was in a band in the '60s, and they'd played down there and all. So I went and had a pint with my dad in this bar one time. And it was like the Munster bar, like Munster as in
Yeah.
the province, not the fucking animals or whatever creatures. But yeah, it was great. We're in there, and I was just before the Rose of Tralee was on that year.
Yeah.
And so the prep was on, and there was a great deal of like just people, like there was so much busyness going on when we were just in that place because they were getting ready for people coming, and there was definitely a vibe of we're going to skin alive anybody that comes in here in the next 2 weeks. And I love that. Like it was just everything. You can see them like over fucking wiping off the prices of food and all on the board. And
Yeah.
just fucking writing up the other ones.
A
And you're
million quid.
You're
for
like,
it, yeah.
it's fucking love it.
Well,
We're
if you
yeah.
like your history, you know Daniel O'Connell, O'Connell Street, the great liberator, Catholic
Cahir
emancipation,
Savine, yeah.
Cahir Savine. I read a thing once. First of all, he was in a duel with somebody, which you gotta love. And second of all, I didn't realize that he went to school in France.
Right,
So this famous Kerry orator had a French accent. Apparently.
That's mental.
You don't kind of
Isn't that
think
mental?
yeah, it's not how I imagine him.
I went to his house in Cahir Savine.
Bonjour.
Yeah. And It's do you know whenever you go see you're gonna I mean it wouldn't be.
Did you do history in university?
I did, yeah,
Ah,
but not
okay.
I did ancient history.
Right, so you
Yeah.
did the Roman stuff.
Yeah,
That would
I
explain
fully love
things.
it. I'm doing a PhD in it right now. Love it.
Doctor of Rome.
I will be soon. I'll be
What's
doctor
your
doctor.
PhD?
So I did
dissertation?
one in journalism, and
Okay.
then this is a vanity project. This one. So this
Okay.
is about mass communication under the Flavian emperors in the 1st century AD.
Of course, Flavius is the guy who built the Colosseum.
Yes, that's right. Vespasian. Yeah. So yeah, Flavius is the
And then
family
his
name.
son, of course, Flavius, he used to have a big clock.
Yeah, he
And
loved it.
he would point at it to say,
It's a big sundial.
yeah, a big sundial. He would say, at the end of the Roman Empire is die.
That's fucking
Look at the
unreal.
clock.
Yeah, and then his other son Domitian, as in Domitian, if you choose to accept it.
Yeah,
Anyway.
yes. And then
yeah.
there was, of course, Cafe Nero. And he fiddled while Roman birds because he was setting up mainly coffee shops all around the Roman Empire.
That's fucking unbelievable. That's so good. Flavius.
Listen, if you want some history, this is the
That's class.
I love history as well, and we were talking before we came on about me and Dave, who we do this podcast together. But the idea on our podcast is basically try and come up with the weirdest stuff that you've never heard of, and we tell the other person. So I brought it to him once. We got a guy from the University of Glasgow to talk about the Darien scheme. Have you ever heard of the Darien scheme?
Don't think so.
So Scotland went, all right, England has colonies and Spain has colonies. We need a colony. Where? Panama. That's fine. How many ships do we have? About 3. Will we go for it? Yeah. So they raised money and they got like Elon Musk.
Right.
They got money from investors and set up a share scheme and all this. And in the late 1690s, so William of Orange is knocking on at this point. And have you ever heard of it? Have you ever heard of this?
No.
So how do you think it went? Given that you haven't heard of it,
I would
and
assume.
you're
I would
a
assume.
doctor of history.
I
soon
would
to be.
assume that because I haven't heard of it, because they didn't have a lot of people going, it didn't go great.
Well, yes, this highly unusual Braveheart Man from Del Monte mashup didn't do that well. Everybody died, basically.
Did they?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
They all got sick. They all they began to starve. They won one battle against the Spanish, actually. But William...
Oh, when they got there, the Spanish were already
yeah.
there?
Oh, yeah.
Right, okay.
And they didn't get any help from any of the English colonies because William went, no, you can't. I know I'm King
Oh,
of Scotland
wow.
as well, but you can't help them at all.
Fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
and
great.
some
I've
people,
never heard of it.
but
What's
some
it called?
people
The
think
Darien?
Darien scheme,
Right.
and they lost a load of money. And some people think that that losing of the money precipitated the union between England and Scotland. Because
Oh,
one of the
wow.
things when it did happen was the English Parliament went, okay, we'll compensate you for some of those losses.
Right, okay.
So we try and I'd never heard of it.
I've never heard of that, to be fair.
That's the whole, but
crazy.
that's the whole vibe of the podcast.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love shit like that.
Last night we had a guy who explained why all the maps you've ever grown up with were wrong.
I've
on
been
West
recently,
Wing.
I've been recently. I was about to say looking into this. I've recently seen a few photos
Yeah.
that show you what the map should actually look like in terms of the size of, say,
Yeah.
Africa.
So there's a guy. We had a guy who presents Coast. You know the BBC show Coast.
Yes.
He's a geographer, and he wrote a book about Mercator. Mercator's a Flemish guy. He came up with the map. The map that was on your wall in school, or the mapping
Yeah.
on your phone. That's the Mercator projection. But the trouble is, if you put now you see, I'll see your Roman nonsense and raise you 16th century map makers. Cartography 101.
I have a story about one of them. Go on. Genuinely. Well, 17th century. Yeah.
So there's an issue if you put a globe 3D, which is 3D, onto a 2D surface. Something will always be
Right,
distorted.
okay.
But Mercator went, oh, okay, I'll figure out this projection. This is what the world looks like on my map. But that means that the compass bearing will stay the same. So you can use it for navigation.
Right,
But he
okay.
was well aware what happens is it stretches certain countries. So it stretches countries that are furthest away from the poles. So Greenland and Africa is the big one you talked about.
Right.
Greenland looks the same size as Africa. It's not. It's like Africa's 14 times bigger than Greenland.
Oh,
or
right,
something.
okay, yeah.
But he was absolutely brilliant, this guy talking about this.
Yeah, I noticed whenever I saw it that Russia looked maybe smaller than it is.
So what's
on
your
some things,
17th century
and
one?
Africa? So actually, it might be 18th century,
Okay.
1700s.
Okay.
Somebody from my dad's family, Bartlett, came from England, and he was a map maker.
Really?
And might have been 17th century, might have been 17th. Anyway, came to Donegal,
Yeah.
and this is actually we found this out whenever my dad was doing like genealogy stuff. So somebody one of the first Bartletts in Ireland, probably the first, came here and was making maps for the court in Donegal,
Really?
and had a run in with people from my mum's family,
No way.
because my mum's my granny's side, if you like, my mum's mum,
Yeah.
her side of the family came from up around like I think like bloody Foreland up around there. Not bloody Foreland. It's called the something. Top banter. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Some fucking very rural part of Donegal near bloody Foreland, I think, but it's called the something. It'd be like saying the lanes, but it's not that anyway. Some bit of Donegal, and apparently the Dohertys, like, and apparently they fucking killed this guy eventually.
And the sexual tension just
the ten-
filtered
yep.
through
Filtered through
years and
few
years
hundred
and years, and then when your
eight
parents
kids in West Belfast
met each other, just
Yep.
so there was a spark.
8 kids,
Yeah.
just shit them
Boom. 8
Yeah.
kids in one go.
out. Yeah, one
Your
go,
mother
yeah.
is octo mom.
in one go.
Wow, that's amazing.
But yeah, that is like we were able to go back and see that it was people from mum's family and dad's family.
That's
in the same
amazing.
place, which is
What
fucking
I
crazy.
find really interesting about genealogy is the American president stuff.
Yeah.
So we have claimed in Ireland JFK, obviously, Ronald Reagan, obviously, Barack Obama, maybe less, obviously, and then Joe Biden,
Andrew Jackson.
Andrew
Jackson from
Bill-
fucking Carrickfergus.
and Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
And then Trump came over, and the genealogist in Trinity went, we've locked up. We've locked up for the day, so we can't look back in. So somebody has the big book with T that begins with T. We don't have that book, so you didn't know. And there was no attempt made whatsoever to try and trace.
That's great.
Even though he's pumping money into Claire, no.
What about Biden? What do you make of him? Strange guy, like.
I don't think he's a strange guy. I think he's a deeply human, a deeply decent man who is probably
Old.
very old.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, but you look at the alternative
Yeah, 100%.
and you go, oh,
Jiggy come
Mother
back?
of God.
Jiggy make a comeback?
well, I heard a great sentence very recently that said, I was listening to some podcast, and an American guy asked an expert, the journalist asked the expert, he goes, will we see, because of all the Mar-a-Lago stuff, will we see Donald Trump in an orange jumpsuit soon? And I was thinking, we're going to have to check if he's not just in the nip. It's just him wandering around.
Does he just have a tattoo
Yeah,
that says convict on his
Yeah.
back?
Do you think he'll come back?
I think the best thing
No, I don't
Democrats could
think.
do is not try to re-elect Biden.
Yeah, but the trouble is they thought Kamala Harris was going to be, the great hope, and she hasn't stepped up.
Yeah.
So,
Like
God only knows.
It's like, who is there? But you sort of go like, if they could come up with somebody plausible
Yeah,
for the next election there,
Yeah.
I think they would win it. Whereas I think if they go,
I think Michelle O'Neill maybe, because Michelle O'Neill's like, well, I've already won an election. This is an absolute pain in the hoop.
oh man, I can't believe we're having another one. It fucking depresses me.
Really?
Like, it actually depresses
What do you think is
me.
going to be the result? When does this our chat now go out?
When's this one going
Yeah.
out? First week of December, maybe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're a few weeks away.
So we're a few weeks away from an election.
We're away, I think we'll be when's the date of the
They're
election?
talking about December the 15th, possibly.
So we're potentially only a week and a half away. 2 weeks. I think I mean, this far out, I think a lot of people will vote to the extremes.
Do you know what I would do if I was Chris Heaton Harris? I would look at the populace here and go, how do we get people engaged in politics again? And I would go to the MLAs and would go, if you don't form an executive, we're going to burn down Primark again. And I reckon the people would rise up
again
and riot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like I suggested.
I know, yeah.
Let's just clarify that for the sake of legal argument. I am not suggesting that the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland burned that 4 years ago in this very long-term plan.
I think somebody
Burned
did though.
down.
I believe somebody did.
You burnt somebody
No,
arsoned.
I believe somebody did do that.
Right.
Listed buildings have a funny way of getting burnt down here and rebuilt. Like, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe.
Okay.
I don't have any evidence. All I have is my, oh, well, you know what that'll have been? That's all I have.
Right.
You know what that'll have been? Here's a good one. Here's the best, do you know what that'll have been I've ever heard in my life? It
Go on.
comes from my dad. So do you remember when people broke into Castlereagh
Right.
and stole like important confidential documents from Castlereagh?
Yeah.
So instead of just going, as everyone was saying at the time, well, that'll be, some probably paramilitary backed guy
Yeah.
or guys
Yeah.
going in and breaking in and stealing that.
Yeah.
My dad said, or sorry, the big theory at that time was inside job as well, because there was no security
Right.
at that moment, and somebody
Okay.
walked in and took this stuff.
Yep.
And instead of going, they bribed someone or they threatened someone, my dad's, do you know what that'll have been? And then he said this, and I do mean this. He goes, whoever's on the security there, for talk's sake, and this is the way he talked about it, for talk's sake, he gets ham sandwiches every day, and he's fucking sick of the look of them. He gets ham sandwiches every day, and he's maybe even said to the wife, I don't want ham sandwiches anymore. And I'm going, this is fucking, I can't wait. And he goes, and he thought to himself, I've asked her to make me something else, and she's handed me ham sandwiches. And he thought, that's it, I'm going to the canteen today. And they've been watching. And your man's get up and walked away, and they've gone, opportunity, and they've gone and stolen it. And I went, so you think that people, they're just watching, they're waiting on a guy?
No, hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. We have
There's
to get
so
into
much
this.
to unpick.
We have to get into the weeds here. They've got two guys because they've got a guy looking at his house.
Yeah.
And they've his house bugged because they have to know that he's asking his missus
Yeah.
for different stuff. And that resentment is building. But they also have another surveillance team standing watching.
To watch the moment when he finally loses it.
He's eating that one there now. Let's register. They probably
Yeah.
have sort of face monitoring that he has not enjoying that ham sandwich.
Yeah.
He's going to the canteen.
That's what he literally came
Alpha
off
team,
with.
go.
And I was like, why is it so hard for you to accept it? They might have just bribed somebody or threatened them. Do you know what I mean?
The
He's
ham,
like, yeah.
the ham sandwich.
And I believe even that, now that I've said it out loud, I wonder, was it all a passive aggressive move from my dad? Said he doesn't want ham sandwiches in his own lunch. Do you know what I mean?
Now you're on
like,
something.
I could be something. Do you know what I mean? I just loved it the way he was like. He's maybe even said to the wife.
Okay. Well, let's see how has it come up again? Because
Oh, no.
if it comes up again, it's your dad doesn't want ham sandwiches. If I don't know if there's another intifada in between Palestine, and he goes, you know
He's
what,
just like, do you know what that'll be?
and he goes ham sandwiches. You go, well, neither side eats ham sandwiches
My
in
mum-
that particular conflict.
My mum comes off with, she loves a. Do you know what that'll have been?
Yeah.
My mum, but instead of applying it to like matters of state,
Yeah.
my mum applies it to the Irish News obituary page, the death page.
All right.
So my mum can pick apart like, a family broken, or
there's
or
definitely code in those.
yeah, there's code. She knows when.
How specific does she get?
Oh, like when it's people's exes and all, maybe like someone's ex is doing a death notice for them, like maybe like an ex-wife is saying,
Right.
my husband's dead, my ex-husband's dead, but they
Right.
don't say it in those words.
Yeah.
They'll just put the guy's name, and it'll be like, father of these two.
Yeah.
She's only mentioned 2 of the 7 kids that he had, and the thing, my mum will go, oh, she gets into that. She's like doing like a family court, like, you know what I mean?
very
Just
much enjoyed
on the
chatting
desk.
to you, but I think a podcast with your parents is an excellent idea.
We do get. My dad is no longer with us. He's passed away. But my mum loves coming on it.
Well, that's why I think
She
it
loves
would
it.
be a serious angle if you could make that happen.
Oh no, she's been on a couple of times. She loves it.
Oh, sorry,
Oh
but
yeah,
your dad-
sorry. We'll get Psychic Glenn in
Yeah.
as well, and just fucking do the whole shebang.
Called, do
Yeah.
you know what that'll have been?
Do you know what that'll be?
That's exceptional.
she
Irish
has come
people-
off with some whoppers, like,
Irish people's obsession with the death notices has to be seen to be believed.
isn't it?
And I did a thing, actually, I put it up on my Instagram about RIP.ie. Have you seen?
No, I
Have
haven't
you seen
it, no.
RIP.ie?
No.
You know the website?
I know.
though?
I think I've heard of
So
it.
they
yeah.
had this thing where they said, because everybody left virtual condolences, and I was like, please don't type any emojis into your condolence.
Yeah.
Because they will not display as you intend in the browser. And I was thinking, like, what? Which ones do you... Like, I'm so sorry to hear about the passing of Kieran. But his spirit will live on forever. You know, sad face, ghost. And he was shot by a man called Colin Rifle Kerry. Do you know what I mean? And
That's
yet
mental.
people were doing it.
Yeah, like
And I
people.
did a gig in Tyrone actually. And it was Tyrone. I kind of changed it for the bit of stand up. And I said to a woman in the front row, I says, have you used RIP.E? And she goes, used it? I'm a member. And the whole audience went, oh, tell us. Forget Patreon. Tell us the level of what. And I said, what's that mean? She goes, I get alerts. So she gets like a bing.
She gets a notification.
Mary's dead.
Oh,
Isn't
my
that amazing?
God. Yeah, because I always think it's weird when people do try to do like a.
It's usually a rose.
Yeah, when people try to do
A broken heart.
like a wee emoji on it, it is weird. They do it on Twitter.
Yeah.
Do it on Twitter when someone dies, or I think it's weird when people really get into celebrity deaths a lot now.
Yeah.
Like in a way that, I mean, in all the time, like I don't think I've ever truly been
Moved.
rocked by one. Robin Williams made me go, that's fucking terrible.
That's really sad. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same.
I don't think
Unless
there's
I
been.
know the person.
Yeah.
Now, what happens is I think certain people, and this was a big thing with the Queen. I think what that did for loads of people who were very sad about it, it made them look at this is an end of an era.
Yeah.
This is this figure of continuity and all this. But have I been sad about the death of someone I never met? Not really.
Well, see, because I think
not
that
a
was kind of
tragedy in the
like
world.
I think that was kind of like when John Paul II died.
Yeah.
There was a bit of that too, of like, shit, he's been Pope for ages.
Yeah.
But like with Queen Elizabeth, like I mean, she was Queen for what, even like double the amount of time he was Pope.
Yeah,
You
my
know what I mean?
man
It's
never
like
met the
mad.
Queen though, and she did meet JP one.
I saw JP twice.
My ma's met. Now she's no longer with us. She's met two saints.
Wow.
She
really?
met JP one,
Right.
and she met Padre Pio.
Oh, did she? Aye.
And she said to me once, on their honeymoon in Rome, in 1967,
Wow.
she met Padre Pio, and we've lost all the Protestants watching to this.
Oh
day,
yeah, yeah.
right?
Don't worry about them.
And she.
Dan's still here. He can represent.
Yeah. Listen, put up your hand if you have any questions. And she said to me, when I was growing up, she goes, and he said to me and your father, bless the children that you will have. Not that you might have, that you will have. And I used to say to her, Ma, it was the 60s. You were a young Irish married Catholic couple. It's not a wild suggestion that you might have a rake of kids. Yeah. Bless the potatoes that you will eat. Bless the late show that you will watch. Bless the Padre Pio Protect sticker you will put on a car.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It's not a huge
Padre
jump.
Pio, that's mental. I remember one of my aunties loved him before he was a saint. Like when he was, I think he might have just been like.
Is she a
beatified or whatever.
religious hipster?
Oh, sure. Yeah. She discovers them before they're cool.
I
Yeah.
like his early stuff. His early sermons are brilliant.
Pre-canonization. Yeah. The early miracles.
I always wondered though when, so you know that sticker used to be, there used to be a Padre Pio Protect sticker on people's cars. Is this completely unfamiliar to you? Okay.
Dan would have had like a no fear sticker or something, you know.
Yeah. George Best minds this car. And I always thought my mother used to drive her mad. When you're a teenager and you're deliberately stirring the pot about everything. And I was saying, what happens if two cars with Padre Pio Protect stickers crash into each other? Which car does he protect? And my brother was going, yeah. And she would start getting annoyed. And he would go, well, it's based on size, really. Like if you have a bigger sticker. And I was like, okay. So if we had a full-size cardboard cutout of Padre Pio in our passenger seat, would that be the best? That's probably the best way to protect the whole car. I said, what happens if we crashed into a car that actually had Padre Pio in it? And my brother's going, that's unlikely. I said, hold on. Well, that's like, I mean...
Can you get his face on an airbag or something like, you know what I mean? So
no, but should the airbag it? Well, then...
right enough, yeah.
Yeah, at that stage, you want the accident to be avoided entirely.
Yeah.
But she would start to go mad at that point. We would deliberately try and wind the poor woman up.
I was reading a thing recently, of course it was, about saints getting made, and it's...
Hold on now. You said saints getting made like they're joining the mafia.
Oh, no, well, funny
like,
you should mention that.
Hey, Johnny.
Funny you should mention
You've killed those guys.
There's some stuff, mate, the mafia, they love it, right? So, like, this was a whole thing about money, to become a saint, it costs about €500,000.
Years ago or now?
No. About and you can pay more I mean, Padre Pio doesn't pay this money, but
Right.
like you can pay more.
Who pays it? And what did they pay it for?
Exactly. Well, fun again.
That'll be the
all
hand sandwiches.
questions.
That'll
So
be the
that. Do
X,
you know
Y,
what
and
that'll
Z.
have been? The laundering of illegal money. Anyway, so literally.
Have you
money.
watched Gomorrah?
I have not, but I have
So,
seen the movie. I haven't seen
Here's
the
a
TV
sentence
show.
I never thought I'd say. One of the dancers I know from Dancing with the Stars
Right.
is from Napoli.
Right,
And
okay.
I said, I started watching Gomorrah. What's it like? And he goes, it's great. I watched a couple of episodes and I went, there is something I've noticed. And he went, what? And I said, every single mafia household has one picture in it. And he goes, and they all have these Pedro Pio stickers.
Oh, really? They
yeah,
love it.
Yeah, they all love it. The
Oh,
mafia
they love it.
in the Gomorrah loves that
They
particular
they
dude.
basically the money. So it's about €500,000. It costs apparently about 50 grand. That goes into like one of the dicasteries in the Vatican, which is like one of the departments, and it's like a department for canonization. So about 50 grand just to get it up and running, just to get like a. Will you consider
An
this
investigation.
person for a saint? And then it's all this investigation money then and research, but then you can pay extra to get it sped along. So like presumably somebody like Padre Pio, because it's meant to take a bit of time like to become a
But
saint.
JP11 became, didn't he?
He was quick, but he's very much one of their own at that point, I would think. But then also, you know what I mean?
Really,
he's
you think
on
the Pope is
he's
one of their own in the
he
Catholic
has
Church,
he has
yeah.
the wee privilege card, like, you know what I mean? He's tapping down and getting 10% off, and then what do you call them? Like Mother Teresa and Padre Pio being two sort of 20th century saints, like,
Yeah.
are probably they've paid a bit more. Also, another 20th century saint, the guy who started Opus Dei,
You need to
is probably paid money in there to get made a saint earlier.
So you've libelled whoever burned down Primark and
Well,
that
potentially
that particular department.
because I haven't accused anybody specifically.
Yeah,
I'm fine.
Yeah, you should be okay.
Defamation.
But you have suggested that.
I'm basing this on journalism I'm prepared to stand behind.
Oh, are you?
Yeah.
The
A
Catholic Church
journalistic
thing.
book that I'm prepared to say I
Okay.
read this book.
Yeah.
I'm doing a book review. And I've just labelled it as such. Defamation law up your hole. Anyway, so I read this book. It's called Merchants in the Temple by an Italian journalist, and it's just mad.
I highly doubt they're going to sue you. To be honest.
I would doubt they'll sue me. They'll probably just
I'd love
let my
the
soul
idea.
rot in purgatory forever.
Which was going to happen long before you started this.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of like they sue you and you can't pay them, but instead they just have a priest, like the albino one from Dan Brown stuff, and he just sits in the corner,
just
and every
silence,
time you
just-
bring up something dodgy, he goes. No. I'm giving you great ideas for your new
Here's a
shows.
question.
Yeah.
Forget about it. Yeah. Well, mate, thanks a million for coming in. Have you anything you want to talk about or plug before we go?
I am doing the SSE Arena, the ice hockey arena that you're doing yourself.
Sensational.
In February, Ticketmaster.ie, and all the rest of the tour, which is all over the island of Ireland, is on.
Loads of dates, yeah.
Yeah,
amazing.
neildelamere.com. And that podcast that has mad history and mad science and all the rest is called Why Would You Tell Me That? And it's not topical, so you can dip into it whenever you want. So,
Class. Thanks a million for coming in, mate. It's been a lot of crack.
it's been a
Cheers.
pleasure.
Thanks a million. And thanks for joining us. And we'll see you in the next one. Cheers. Oh, love it.